As promised, we still have more Counter-Strike action coming up for you. Grayhound versus Complexity is the game that we are about to see go down on this stream. Of course, it's an elimination game, Hugo. All these teams toting that 1-2 record right now. The loser of this going home, the winner going into that 2-2 group, which is going to be like the most competitive little subsection of this at the very end of the new Challengers stage, right, where you have the teams that, you know, have lost their games, they go home, and it's all the ones that are grinding and have a good chance. And I feel like no matter what happens when we get down to our last few teams, there's always going to be, like, you're always going to feel hurt at one team leaving, right, over another.
That's the thing. Everyone here likes more than 8 teams at this tournament. You don't like 50% of the teams. You like more than that. So you can never truly be satisfied because your favorite 8 aren't going to make it through anyway. That is the brutal nature of Counter-Strike right now. Here are the standings that have been going on for these past 3 days, and we are on, of course, day 3 of this stage. We have one more day after this to decide who is going to be going to that new Legends spot, and of course, you know, meeting the teams that, of course, kept their place after the previous Katowice Major. But that will all be for the future. Right now, Harry, it's Complexity versus Grayhound, a 1-2 game, as you say. Neither of these teams want to go home, unfortunately. Well, one of them has to.
One of them certainly does, and one of them will be. Yeah, there we go.
really
spoke to Mr. Neil M.
Yeah.
Learned that he might not ever be going home because he lost his passport on the way back from boot camping.
Classic case, really.
Yeah.
So he's really hoping they win this game, just so he's not abandoned
Grayhound
in Germany.
really need to win this game because they are leaving a poor Irish man behind otherwise to fend for himself.
Yeah. No passport, no friends, no teammates, just stuck in a hotel in Berlin. It is, you know, it's not where you want to be on your own.
The stakes are higher than ever, really.
Yeah.
Like, not only is your tournament life on the line, but maybe your actual life is on the line as well. And now, obviously, on the other side, Hugo, we've got Complexity. You can see we're bringing up, and I'm going to wait and see which team we bring up first on our little graphics, because I always find it's just, there we go. Okay, we were going the right way.
Yeah,
we always
you should have believed in yourself,
we always,
Harry.
nah,
we
because I've
been
believing in ourselves,
yeah.
and it's been screwing us.
This team has been really exciting to watch, though, right? Obviously, only one win to their name so far this tournament. That was yesterday against Tyloo. They took a pretty convincing game. They had that Vertigo map where they just absolutely ruined them. Obviously, we won't see Vertigo in this game. There's no way Grayhound are touching that at all in a best of 3 when you know Complexity have clearly done their homework on it, and that's great to see. Obviously, a new lineup, some changes, a young gun Obo brought in, and he really impressed us as well. I mean, we all remember that round where he gets 4 kills to close out the map and a 2-on-5 on Overpass. Just really had some highlights so far in these last couple of days, and I'm sure this game won't be devoid of any highlights. We need everyone stepping up here as we reach crunch time, Harry, but there's Grayhound on your screens as well.
Yeah, and so looking at this roster, I reckon the names that we really want to be keeping an eye on in this matchup, for me, I'm looking at Urcast, Dexter. Those 2 yesterday in particular in that Dust2 game really came into their own. We had a lot of big moments from Dick Stacey as well, and Malta, if you remember, kickstarted the day with a stellar game.
Yeah.
We just had like great individual moments from each of them. For me, I am going to say keep your eye on Dexter and Dick Stacey. I reckon they're the 2 big-time gamers that might show up here in this matchup.
That being said, I mean, I just saw a tweet from Dick Stacey of a photo. You know, it's a classic get right situation where Urcast has been at the PCs warming up for the past few hours.
He's been here since, I think it said
6
in the morning.
Well, yeah, you know, I don't know how much of that is hyperbole and how much of that is reality, right? But I can guarantee he certainly has been there before the rest of his team, who we saw come in earlier. We were, you know, with the other guys in catering. Urcast wasn't there, so he has definitely been putting in, you know, a few hours work this morning, really wanting to make sure that the last ride here, you know, goes well for Grayhound, and I really respect that.
Australia know I love them, but they've dropped the ball on this one. You know, they're losing out on one of the biggest talents in Oceanic Counter-Strike for visa issues. You know, just recognize esports as a sport. How hard is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother debate, really. I don't want to get into that. Well, they are up against Complexity, you know. If they lose this game, maybe they can take some advice from Complexity, who were one of the first organizations in North America to actually, you know, get their players visas, which is great. Obviously, an entirely different continent, but, you know, I'm sure that's a hope for the future. However, not for the present. We have the vetoes. It's going to be Dust2, the pick of Grayhound, moving to Inferno as a second, and we finish things off on Overpass. Potentially, that's assuming we go through maps here. And will we, Harry?
Well, I tell you what, on the back of seeing like how these teams are stacking up, I am giving this one in the edge of Grayhound, if I'm being honest with you, right? Like, Dust2, that's a map that they've looked very, very good on.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, they've always been a good Dust2 team. Even thinking back to before they brought Sicko into this squad, back when Sterling was the AWPer, it was a good map for them then. Every iteration of Grayhound has had a very good time on Dust2. I even remember, I'm trying to think what event it was at, but I got to cast a map where Grayhound actually defeated Renegades on Dust2, which was a great like clash to have. And you know, like, as a result, and the fact that we haven't really seen Complexity elect to play Dust all too much, and combining in with that, sorry, I know I'm getting a bit lost in my own point
keep
here.
Keep going.
But I was going to say, like, combined with how inconsistent Shazam has looked at this event, I do feel a little bit worried because you haven't really had that same kind of... I feel like Sicko has been pretty consistent on that AWP. Like, maybe he had a bit of a struggle yesterday, but for the most part,
he didn't have the AWP for a lot of the games we saw him. And yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. I especially think back to that Complexity Tyloo game yesterday, in fact, where, you know, they won versus Tyloo, but they needed Ricky to really get some work done with that second AWP, right? And there was a point where he was even taking it over Shazam, who typically we do see as that main AWPer, and that's because Shazam was having a bit of a rough game. He came alive in overtime, he won a clutch, and he started to pull it back when it really mattered, but before that, he was having a rough game, and that can't afford to happen here.
One thing that you just mentioned there that I also want to expand upon, seeing as we're focusing on the AWPs, the first map is Dust2, so very, very valid to focus on the AWPs. That is the dark horse, I think, for Complexity, is Ricky. He's the man I'm going to be looking towards. Because, as you said, his secondary AWPing yesterday, I think through a lot of the matches, he was kind of outshining Shazam, right?
Yes,
and was actually getting given that AWP over Shazam, which, you know, respect to Shazam's offer making that decision, you know, kind of taking the back seat and saying, well, you know, Ricky's clearly feeling it right now. It does take a very big man to actually admit that, you know, like you're like, you know, it's not a nice thing to have
and
to
that
do.
is a rarity. That's the thing. Shazam, usually a player that can really just turn the server or turn the game completely in his team's favor.
That's always been the thing with him, right? Is it's like when he's feeling it, he's such a talented AWPer, but it's just not there every single game. It's not consistent yet. And I was really hoping that, you know, with Complexity, with this roster, we would see that consistency kind of go up a bit and, you know, see him become a bit more of a consistent force in the server. He certainly still has his moments, but it does just seem to be a bit more of the same.
Honestly, sorry.
What I was going back to there was that point about Ricky, the double AWP potential here for Complexity. I think that is like the dark horse aspect for them on Dust2, right? You've got two very competent AWPers. Even if Shazam is off to a slow start like we saw the other day and has to build into the game, Ricky can kind of, you know, try and alleviate some of that pressure by bringing out an AWP of his own. And, you know, for Grayhound, while they do have that double AWP potential, it's not really a team that you see elect to run it all too much. Usually it is just in the hands of Sicko.
I really hope we go 3 maps for this series. I mean, we briefly went over the maps earlier. Obviously, you know, kind of hard with Complexity. We didn't know where they stood on a lot of the maps because coming into this event, they have like 2 logged maps on you know, 5 out of the 7 maps in this pool with this roster because it is new and you know, they haven't been together as long, right? So we didn't know what maps they'd be good at, what maps they want to play, and that certainly works in your favor as Complexity, right? Grayhound don't know where you're comfortable. This is where Grayhound very much, quote-unquote, play their own game, right? Obviously, the instant Vertigo ban coming through, they know Complexity showed us a fantastic game on that the other day. So other than that, you don't really know where to go. They looked good on Overpass. That's also a map Grayhound don't really touch, and that will be the 3rd of this series. And I was really impressed at some of the CT setups that Complexity had on Overpass against Tyloo. So I really hope we go to 3 and we get to see that map again, especially because I don't know what Grayhound do on Overpass. I've not seen them play that map ever. They've got 1 logged map. So yeah, obviously that, you know, requires us to go to 3, but if we do, I think this could be a really, really fun series. Dust2 to start, Inferno to follow up, and Overpass to end. I mean, who knows where this is going, Harry? I'm excited.
Yeah, the biggest problem is like with Grayhound, we've seen a lot from them. There's a decent pool of data for us to go off of. Complexity, meanwhile, leading up to the major, haven't really played anything, you know, since kind of forming this squad and coming together. You imagine, like, you know, we see how much teams like Simon Gaming, for example, have improved in between this very short gap between the minors and the major, right? They had about 3-4 weeks of getting ready, building up to this event. And Complexity kind of doing the same thing, right? Like, all the teams have gone away in the player break and have looked to improve. So I feel like, we really don't have a lot to go off of with this Complexity squad in terms of making predictions. But getting into Dust2, Hugo, lots of utility here on the side of Complexity. Sick, Def, and Ricky all picking some up. Very interesting to see 3 players donning the utility here over on the T side. Early Xbox smoke throwing in. Cast already peeking down through short, though, so that's this portion of the map going to be cleared. With the 2 smokes, I'm imagining they both go down so that you can cross into this bomb site. You've got a molly on Ricky. You can use that to maybe clear out the car. So they've got everything they need to make this A site play work.
Here come the smokes on the cross. Stacy's on the site. He sees a flash go ahead, and he's going to go out with one of his own. Oh, nice shot. Bomb dropped as well. It was the first across. It had to be. And Ricky's been domed already. Dick Stacy not connecting those shots. They look so close, but yet so far this boost is great as well. Sicko's dedicated to it. He's not playing inside of the site. He's rather playing an above angle, and Shazam drive-by shooting with that Glock. Malta's going to be quick in response, though. Coming up the ramp with one. There's the trade back in, but Dex is also in the same position, and he will close the round. Great shots by Dexter, and that is the start that Grayhound needed.
Oh, and this is already a good sign of things to come, right? Dexter, yesterday, was just a monster in that CT crossroads position, right? So often would be the man in rotation up through CT. And countless times, just multi-kill after multi-kill. And this round is no exception. The pistol on his rotation up through CT, getting 2 kills, cracking shots as well.
It was him and Urcast doing that exact same thing from the same position, just round after round after round versus INTZ. They just would not let it up. And if you've got those same 2 players really firing off, and like we hope, with Urcast putting in the work this morning, then this could really show up in the server. 1-0 start. Complexity, they've gone for the Force. Kind of a rarity nowadays on Dust2, considering pistols are not great, but they've got a good bit behind it. They've got a Scout and Shazam as well. 6 on a Mac 10. Up on Catwalk they go. Urcast, he's just jiggling right now. He's going to eventually adopt a full. Doesn't want to commit. Obo's out mid in the meantime. In Complexity, they are going for a mid to be played, but Shazam's only holding tunnels. He can't really do much with the Scout in terms of getting aggressive. It's got to rely on the mid players, and they find nothing. Sick gets a kill. That will be it for this round. And Complexity, they get torn apart. That is a great example of why you don't see force buys as much on the T side.
You can just tell as well, Urcast is feeling very cerebral, very tuned into the game right now, right? He gets up on top of this boxer down in CT, isn't perturbed by the presence he's heard up on short, isn't concerned with the fact that there might be players holding, and he just mows down everyone trying to get into that B bomb site. Now, the window player actually died for Grayhound, so had Urcast not been in that position in mid, there's only one guy left in B with Shazam ready to split tunnels. That could have been a very different round. So it might have been anti-eco frags, but they were force sport rather. And it was 3 kills with the MP9 that salvaged that round. Dexter starting this round off, but he's going to double up. Urcast, Dexter, the MP9 Kings making money, making a mockery of Complexity of this round. Lots of cash made. They keep it clean. A 3-0 start for Grayhound here. Nice little confidence boosting round there as now we head into the first buy round for Complexity.
Dirty Dexter there, 4 kills in that round. He's 7-1 right now, Harry. It doesn't get much better than this. That being said, Complexity have yet to field a rifle in this game. So just waiting for those AKs, those Kriegs to come out in round number 4. Here they are. There's even the AWP on Shazam. He's got that with a bit of Kevlar as well. He even hits the tag. Malta getting caught in the cross. Damage that Complexity will be more than happy with. Nades going into the B tunnels, and Complexity looking like they want to go for a quick mid to B play. They've already got the smoke down. There's a huge gap in that though, and Urcast, he is creeping on through. He's got that SMG. Resmoke is there. He could wait for a flashbang from the B side, but Dexter is firing in shots with a Scout. He's already picked up one of the tunnels, and there's a tag to Ricky as well. They are getting whittled away. Smoke on the flame, and Urcast caught rotating in middle. He assumed there was only one man there, and after killing him, he didn't expect 6. So the trade is in action, and Complexity, they can still dig themselves out of this round. Grayhound gonna bail with that long flank and chill out.
The thing I'm loving though is Complexity, right? They spot that long flank from Dick Stacy, and so in their heads now they know that Grayhound have a very clear picture of where they're going.
Boom.
And they try and run up through short. They try and make a play into the A bomb site, but now with Sicko rallying his shots off, this push has had all the momentum sucked right out of it. Dexter, he's only got a scout, and he's still finding kills, his second in the round. Shazam, 1v4. We were saying he could turn the tide single-handedly when he's feeling it, but this is just such an astronomical clutch that would be required. You don't even imagine he attempts this, surely. 30 seconds left, bomb down over in mid. He's looking like a little bit invested, but with 20 seconds left, there's just no time. He's hoping that someone overextends, someone makes a mistake, and then maybe he can go for it.
Money being a crucial factor if you can take just another player down. Grayhound won't make a profit on this round, but the issue is he's hung around in CT for too long, and Dust2 dropping in from above. He will lose that AWP. I wonder if we see the double up straight in. Dexter was hitting shots with the scout. Maybe he could take that. And I mean, just hitting headshots as well. I love this. This player, Ricky was already on 30 HP because Dexter hit him through the smoke. He didn't know that, but he still goes for the headshot anyway. You know, got to make sure that double up is secured as well. Dexter 9-1 now. God damn. Grayhound 4-0 up. Complexity back to pistols here. No other choice. Money is no longer in their favor, and Sick, he's going to go for the long peek. Does get the tag. That's worth it. Loses no health in the process, and that's a free bit of damage onto one of these AWPs. Dexter's holding on to middle. Complexity can get up catwalk with that smoke, but it looks like they want to pressure these doors.
Oh, Dexter getting away with some chip damage there before he falls out of middle. Aircast's going to take up his position down in CT, and he also... Oh, the nades!
Phil.
Man. Grayhound are ready for the ashes, aren't they? They're just bowling those nades down through short. And, I mean, that's found so much damage. The walking wounded that are Complexity. They've just had to stop in their tracks, right? That double nade coming in, if you're Complexity, you're kind of looking at this now going, yeah, they really know where we are, don't they?
And that's their only flash. They had to go with it as well. They had to move around the corner with the last bit of utility left up. Sick hits a shot. That might open up this round, but Sicko needs to close it down. He's so low. He was tagged earlier on from long, so he can't afford to go down and give them a 5-on-3. Reke is already taking it, though, dropping Dexter. Malta is stuck in an engagement in the B site right now, and that bomb is down on A. He is too far away, and Dust2 needs to step up. He will with 2 kills. His teammate getting traded. Sicko's gone from the action. Reke's found that rotate as Malta tries to get out of the B site, but he does eventually get revenge. Dust2 needs his final kill, and he's been tagged down low. Sick holding on to that short plant with the bomb. Both players coming from CT. Time not working in their favor, but they do have the kits to play with.
Yeah, they flash him off the angle. One of these two players has to stick it, and they're both one shot to the scout. Miss from Sick, and they're on the bomb. They get it. Malta covering Dust2. Round goes the way of Grayhound, but Complexity, they cannot be disappointed with how close they get that, especially with all the nade damage that comes in, everyone being tagged to around about 50 points of health as that A play comes in. They were looking for a buy in this round anyway, so that extra $800 you can see now they're flush with cash. AWP over on Shazam, rifles for everybody else.
Great decision from Dust2 to drop off of the catwalk after he gets tagged. He has 2 options there. Take the fight to Sick and risk losing the 1v1 and leaving Malta hung out to dry, or regroup and play that 2v1 when he sticks the bomb and Malta covers him. That was definitely the better call, and Dust2 realized that very quickly after getting tagged. So salvaged the round. And you know, we didn't get to see what was going on B, but Ricky was in the B site keeping Malta contained for so long, and Malta almost got caught on that exit. I'd love to know how that went down, whether Malta knew how deep Ricky got, because he got shot in the back there and had to 180 for the kill. Either way, it's a 5-0 start for Grayhound. They are going to be very pleased with this, and Sicko getting flashed off. He just about misses the timing, but the nade, well, that will do the job. Death down to 46. This utility, I mean, this is a point you made yesterday. Grayhound's utility, or at least on Nuke, it just looks so purposeful. Every nade providing some, you know, assistance, some help, a good bit of damage. Every Molotov forcing back a CT, or a T rather. And this continues again. These HE grenades have just been tearing Complexity limb from limb. They know.
Flash over, yeah, Dust2, they had his number there. Sicko will come in with a response. You can see Def on that little mini screen in the meantime, trying to get up through Catwalk. Now there is Aircast to keep an eye on this. They're hoping that they can find a bit of a timing here for Def to get something done from his short wrap and him getting brought down to 2.
Nice.
That's not going to happen, but Shazam has opened up and he's exposed a massive gap here. This long side now ripe for the taking. Nades go into these smokes and Dexter in their faces, cutting them down. It's Ricky left up standing. 1v2 taps the bomb. Malta's just running straight in. He gets it down with seconds to spare, but the defuse is there. 6-0 lead for Grayhound. Dexter doing so much damage at the crossroads, helped out by Aircast as well, coming in on rotation.
I mean, that was so close, right? They were hoping that Def could try and get a pick, but he was getting double peeked from both site and CT. And you know, it was the cover on short that allowed Sicko to play the angle that he did down in CT watching the long cross. As soon as, you know, he dies, that's when Def can activate. But Urkos does a heads-up job of holding down both the short players and also continuing with damage onto long, right? Finishing off Dexter's kills. And another round for Grayhound. It's 6-0 right now. Complexity looking for a pause. They need a bit of a breather right now, and I don't blame them. Getting a lot of close situations, not being able to close them out, though, on this A site. Where do they go from here? Frag leaders for the team. Right now, Dexter 10-2. He is looking great. And Shazam for Complexity. Only sitting at 5, but it's not like Complexity have a round to their name, rather. Definitely need a resurgence of some of these team players. Obo yet to frag as well. Shazam getting tagged in mid. Sicko blinded, but he gets away with a huge bit of damage. Only the single orb this time here for Grayhound. They have been reluctant to pull out the double orb unless given to them for free. And that makes sense. It is Dust2. You don't need the double orb. You can get it done with one. Send it rotating, and that's what they'll do. Sicko moving back towards long for a change, watching that cross. Def getting up Catwalk for free. Definitely keeping a little bit more passive this time so the utility doesn't take him down. He's expecting this push from Sicko, and Sicko might walk right into it.
God, it's just a standoff between the two of them. Oh,
They both moved.
Yeah, neither player landing their shot. You think about Def's role within Complexity, and he went from being somebody, you know, put up pretty decent numbers, but just seemed to be like a consistent force within the team. Whereas here at the Major, he has been like the guy top in the charts. Alongside him, you know, we have big performances from Ricky and Obo. It's the B play now, and Def not a part of it. Instead, it's the rest of the gang, and it is that man in question, Obo, to open up with a double. Def down in mid, drops another, and it's the terrible twosome for Complexity, just wreaking havoc in this round. Bomb goes down. Sicko and Dick Stacy left, and this is not a retake you would attempt ever. 2v4 into that B bomb site, and still plenty of utility up for Complexity.
While it can be a very powerful position, I think we've seen Malta play that cubby. You know, if you're walking out of B tunnels into B, to your left, either that close left corner or the second left corner, the little cubby in the site. He plays that really almost every B take, and while it works out wonderfully, right, it's really great at throwing in utility, delaying a play, you know, from safety, and also when you have a crossfire from the windows or the doors, that can be a very powerful position. But I wonder how much Complexity are going to expect that. They certainly did that round. Obo gets the instant kill onto him with a flash assist. And yeah, if Complexity have done their homework, if they've watched these VODs, they know that Malta loves to play that corner. And let's see if that comes into play in the future. Finally, around for the T side, they get a B play under their wing.
See, a part of me is hoping that... Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we're not going to get to see it. I was going to say that it might be nice, well, we could still see it, to see an alt maybe head over towards back plat over on B. Think about the one round that Complexity have tried that already. And it was when we had Dexter at back platform with that scout, and he was able to just whittle Complexity down before they even get into the bomb site. Sicko instead, the change is they've boosted him up onto short, and now they've assembled this catwalk boost. So here's the change from Grayhound. They've been a bit more proactive in securing this early kill down into lower tunnels, but it's read by Shazam. Urkos now on the AWP, and Def is going to hear that scope in. He knows that he's here, and the flashbang is good from Obo. Will he keep trying to carve a path? He certainly does, and Dick Stacy lies in wait.
flash up as well. Sends Sick back as well. He actually stayed in the angle while blind. He didn't realize he was up on the chopping block, and he will get chopped down. Obo with the trade immediately, and Grayhound, they've got to rotate quickly from this CT spawn. Good nade. Shazam getting the plant in. Jump shot, maybe. Does Dexter want to give away his position? Oh, it's Shazam the one to jump into the firing line. Dexter with 2 kills. He cleans up the long player. It's just the young gun on the site. They line up for him, but he can't finish the kills. Only damage to both. And it's Grayhound with a retake again on the A site. They seem so good at coming in from the CT spawn. Round after round, locking them in. And it's going to be 7-1. What a start to this game. It is their map pick, of course. It's going to be where they're most comfortable. And in addition, right, a map that when we look to officials, Complexity only have 2 logged on Dust2. Now, that's not really a rarity. You compare it to their maps like Overpass, where they've got 1 logged, Mirage 2, Nuke 2, Train 1. You know, this is pretty normal for a new team, but when you don't have that experience in officials on knowing how to deal with certain problems and having procedures to fall back on, this is where the more experienced team is going to take the lead, and Grayhound is doing exactly that.
And I mean, here's the thing. Think about the amount of times where we've seen teams go into an event having not played a map in officials, but officially, like practice it behind the scenes and gone into like a tournament or an event, believing, like, based on their practice sessions, oh, well, we were really sick at this map. Like, we were destroying everybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, that might be happening in your scrims or in your practices, but on the stages, when it matters the most, it just doesn't transpire that way. It's a whole different level of Counter-Strike.
I think it was big at Pro League last season, where they did loads of prac on Dust2, and they were going on about, oh man, we're really comfortable with Dust2.
That was Mouse Sports.
Mouse Sports, sorry. Yeah, my bad. And they were going on about how, you know, we're really comfortable with this map, blah, blah, blah. They go and play at Pro League, and they get absolutely swept.
Yeah, they played it like 2 or 3 times and just got ruined every single time.
You know, what happens in this prac doesn't necessarily happen in officials, but Dick Stacy, he's not going to be too happy with that one. Def just blind fires through the smoke, and back to a 4-on-4. That will open up long, but not for long, because Sicko's already there. Got Sicko killing Sick. Now that is that's a rivalry.
Actually throws Sicko up into the boost. He's now got a bit of a watchtower to try and go blow for blow with Ricky, and he does lose that fight. Now they know that he had to get boosted as well, and Ricky's holding the angle. Once again, we mentioned how good he'd been looking on that AWP, taking it over Shazam sometimes the other day. Well, it's a double kill from him in this round that's opened up this A site, and now that bomb can look to go down. Holding close on the ramp is Obo. Malta's gone very aggressive, stampeded up through short. Dexter in with 1. That nade finding damage onto Def, but he will get the kill. Dexter with his back open to Ricky down in pit. I was going to say, surely it's only a matter of time before he goes down, and that is indeed the case. A second round for Complexity.
I was wondering if those smokes would come back to haunt them, and it almost did there, because one of those long cross smokes, the closest, or the furthest one from the site, I guess you could say, that kind of bounced against the wall when it landed, and as you can see here in this view, it's very wide. It's not quite in the cross. It's open to long. It didn't look like a purposeful smoke. It didn't benefit anyone. All it did was cut Ricky's line of sight off to the site, and whoever was climbing up on the site with the AWP there almost got on top of it, but nice work from Ricky with a picked up off of Shazam's body, and he shuts down plenty of players as the push comes through into tunnels in this round. Shazam is hitting his own shots with the AWP. Sicko is still here, but he's so low, 1 bullet away from death and running out of ammo as well. 3 in the mag, and not for long. Dick Stacy alone up on Catwalk. We know he's good with his 5-7.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. His 5-7's been deadly before. How much longer can he discount the lower tunnels for? Oh,
Sick.
It's nothing.
It's a double take from Sick.
Yeah. I thought that was going to be the big moment, the BDP, but no, instead, Complexity get that 3rd round.
They are starting to come alive, Harry. All it took was that 1 PX sector worked out. Now they have got a bit of confidence coming back into this. Obo's gone from having 0 kills to having 9 kills and being top of his team. That's a great recovery. Let's see how much more they can do, because Grayhound, they're down to pistols here. It's a long flash play. I like this. Bait Obo into long, and then you go for the flash once Complexity have committed. But Complexity playing very safe, very aware of this possibility. Ricky is waiting. Run boost or just a top side peek? It's going to be the double peek from different heights. Ricky and Obo dealing with it well, though. They were so ready for that play. and the eco will get forgotten just like that. It's only Sicko with a deagle. He is dead too. 4 rounds to Complexity, but Grayhound are coming in with guns once again, and they're going to have that orb.
Still, we really do have to acknowledge how Complexity are now back into this game in a very big way, right? Like, they were 7-1 down at one point in time. This didn't really have any signs of a Complexity comeback for the longest while. And now that we're starting to see Ricky and Obo finding their footings just that little bit more, they have looked scary also. Shazam sitting right up top of the board for Complexity right now. You love to see that. Smoke down into the tunnel. Malta, guess where he is? Surprise, surprise, over on the left of the tunnels, holding close. This push looking to come in, and it's very scary in the smokes. He actually gets a dink off. There's a man in the sight, though, and Ricky, as a result, he gets past Malta. Dexter just isn't ready for it. He doesn't suspect the man to be in the bomb site. And now B has fallen. This was looking like a done deal for Grayhound. I thought Dexter and Malta had done enough. Ricky, he's given Complexity a very doable situation now. Shazam tagged down low. All the utility for Complexity thrown out. So they've just got to win this on aim and aim alone. And Shazam giving up that first shot. We'll get the opportunity again, and they line up for him this time around.
I don't know what they expected there, really, right? You both peek at the same time versus an AWP. You're both going to get hit by the AWP. And they really, really wanted to at least get one play across so they could throw a grenade or just get Shazam out of that position. Because, like you said, you know, as a defensive precaution, putting an AWP there on plat, well, that's fantastic. It's even better in a post plant when you have time on your favor as well. You can really pick and choose when you want to take those fights. You know, crouch, spam, obviously patch, but to some extent you can still run that with an AWP. You can just crouch and then do it very occasionally. And Shazam locking down that B bomb site. I wonder if we see Grayhound taking an AWP over there. I would understand why they wouldn't want to do it earlier. It is kind of, you know, the only rough thing about dedicating an AWP to B is if it's your only AWP, it is just dedicated, right? You can't get it out of the site. You can't rotate a B player to A without, you know, in the midst of the madness. It needs to be in a retake, and that's not what you want. You usually want the AWP on long, watching the cat cross. So maybe double AWP, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I would really like to see. Even if maybe, like, you know, we've seen Dexter look reasonably comfortable donning it, and he is one of the players over towards that B site and also playing down in middle. You think about, you know, like the position he's playing right now. Okay, he wouldn't be playing on platform like we were saying, but, you know, you can still watch mid from window with the AWP and still be very effective at helping out in the B bomb site.
That being said, with him just wrecking everything with the rifle
that's what I mean.
right now, I don't see that happening. Yeah, I don't see that happening.
He's just been looking too good, and that's kind of, you know, he's like a victim of his own success at this point.
I mean, he is keeping them in this, but that being said, Complexity starting to find their footing in this first half. 5 rounds now, and yeah, it really is a great turnaround. They've broken the money once again. Grayhound back down to a bit of a shambles buy, holding on to the AWP and the rifle. A couple of pistols behind it. Smoke on mid to allow them to cross. Shazam not hitting the timing shot. Ooh, close one from Sicko, but right now everyone remains unscathed. That nade does do damage on Malta on B, though. Oh, if Def backs up enough, he's going to see the head, and this Krieg is definitely better in the engagement. Urcast wants to dip, and he will. Def is just the magnet right now. Every grenade that is thrown will land on him, no matter whether he likes it or not, Harry.
Oh. Cast? What?
Fair enough. He'll take it.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Finally someone gets rid of him. The nades couldn't, but I mean, I guess fire just not his weakness. It's bullets, as it turns out. Pretty common one, that.
Yeah.
Sicko holding mid now with the AWP. Really, you're looking at Sicko to have to make a huge play here. The only weapon left up for Grayhound, Sicko.
Oh, they're out mid. Def's already out.
Whoa, and this isn't good yet. There's Def emerging from the hidey hole, and yeah, you're bang on. No clue that someone could have been this deep. They lose Malta through the smoke. It's only Dexter left, and as good as he's been, an MP9 in a 1v5. Completely surrounded. Not going to happen. Complexity now 6-7. Let's not forget, Hugo, this was 7-1 in favor of Grayhound. This is almost a tie game before the first half is over. And since that 7-1 lead, Grayhound haven't put a round on the board.
Damn. I mean, Complexity is just playing the smart, though. If you look at the little things that they're doing to win these rounds, like Def waiting in middle, knowing he can win that timing repeak if an AWP is coming from CT. The anti-eco where Greyhound stack long and Complexity just set up, holding it. You know, they do seem one step ahead once they've hit these guns. Just need a bit of time to warm up into the match. Greyhound, though, still holding the lead, remember? For now. If we continue in this path, Complexity, only 2 rounds after this half, they could take the advantage heading into their CT side. Sicko's up on catwalk, he's going to go back, knows there's flashes possibly coming around this corner, and as always, forced off. Never easy as an AWPer in 2019. Teams are very good with utility nowadays. Sicko can't get a clean shot. Complexity setting up for more cat utility. Shazam, will he go deep with this AWP looking for more frags? It's going to be Urcast alone on the site. Dick and Sicko setting up at long together, and they will be met with more players rather, because Complexity, they're sending that bomb all the way back. This is the same setup they did earlier.
Oh, but this time Sicko getting that opener onto Obo. Quite the scalp to find as well, removing him from this round. Def is set up over it short. You're bang on, Hugo. Last time we saw them attempt this, it didn't end too well, and Sick putting his teammate down out of his misery could be the catalyst for that. Def will catch Urcast. Oh, and he doubles up with the Krieg. That's the A-bomb site open for business now. Complexity, they can get across with this bomb. Dexter from CT, he is the hero of Greyhound. He's got to be it now more than ever, though, and just 6 points of health, waiting for Malta on this long flank, but Shazam is primed and ready. 7-7, Complexity tying this up.
Just incredible work from Def there, right? Finds a perfect timing through the smoke. If you remember last time they tried that strat, Def just couldn't hit a timing. He was getting peaked by both CT and Catwalk. We had Sicko playing CT with the AWP. That's unfortunate. And Def just couldn't do it. But this time, smoke goes down. Def goes, well, when I hear gunshots, when I know people are in engagements, I can strafe out and I can win these fights. And he does more than that. 2 kills into the A-bomb site, cleans up everyone, and locks in a 7th round.
The one thing that's worrying me, actually, wait a minute. That's just, because this looks like an instant B play. Just the disrespect B play from Complexity. Just brute forcing their way here early on, and only Dexter left inside of this B site. Sicko trying to get out of lower tunnels, and he just gets around the corner in time. All 3 players for Greyhound down in mid right now, and Complexity, they're not even moving. They could take this B bomb site here and now if they wanted, but they're being very meticulous in clearing these angles, making sure that Greyhound haven't gotten into the back line.
And they've seen no long push as well, so they might be considering the fact that this position is open. And yeah, the full rotate through spawn as well. This will be the call from Complexity. Greyhound seemingly aware of it. They leave Dexter alone on B. You've got to have at least 1 player there at all times as the rest of Greyhound set up on this A site. But with this weaponry versus, you know, Complexity have an AWP. They've got plenty of util to do this. 1 smoke isn't great, but it shouldn't be anything that will stop them here. This is going to be a near impossible task for Greyhound. We're going to have to see Sicko go lights out with his scout, hit some tags, hit some headshots, delay the push, waiting for the peek from Def. You know Def wins this as well. He's been so good with the Krieg in these last few rounds. Sicko, he's very committed here. He's in the open, and he's fully blind as well. Not going to get a second chance at this. Molotov is behind him. They are surrounding him on the site, and too many missed shots for their own good. It's Complexity to find the 8th round of the half. It was a 7-1 lead to Greyhound, and Complexity pull it all the way back to 8-7. A well-earned spot, but they're not out of the woods just yet. They've got to move over to that CT side, and that's going to be in just a moment. Do join us after the break here for that second half to see who will be taking Dust2. welcome back to the second half. 8-7 is the scoreline as Complexity take the lead. Yes, that's correct. If you were only watching the first 8 rounds, you must be very confused right now because Complexity took 7 rounds in a row to pull this game back, to pull this half back, and they now sit in the lead. It's a great resurgence, Harry, but will it be enough?
I mean, here's the thing, right? For Grayhound, the thing that I'm worried about now is I'm starting to worry that they might get like a bit superstitious almost, right? Like they keep giving away these big leads and it's very easy to get into your own head, right? And believe that this is a reoccurring problem that you're just having in the moment. And I always think, you know, superstition is like where emotion tries to explain reoccurring circumstances and it actually like just trumps reason almost, right? Like you can tell that they're looking a bit out of it now because for like the 3rd time at the major thus far, Grayhound had a big lead and they've given it away here on Dust2.
At least they've not lost the game. It's halftime, it's a whole new start. It's a pistol round most importantly, and let's see if they can make anything of it. Oh, this is great for Grayhound. 1 player on B and he's playing in window. They are going to be able to fully rush this bomb site. And he's even left B as well. Smoke goes down the middle. That draws Sick out. It's going to have to be a retake here from Complexity. And that is not a common situation. 5-on-5 retake on this B bomb site. Definitely a favorite for Grayhound here. How will they choose to position? How will they choose to cut off this tunnels rotate? Dexter plays very passive in this spawn. They're going to be baited in by Malta, and Dexter should deliver the killing blow. Flashes in, and here comes Malta.
Looking for more. Him and Dexter having this crossfire. Actually, Dexter losing out there. Malta having to give up tunnels, gets caught by the players outside door, and they quickly wrap Urcast out of the bomb site. That alone should win them the round. Sicko's going to snatch up all the kills anyway. Grayhound 8-8, they get themselves the pistol, continuing to build upon their incredible pistol round win percentages, by the way.
Yeah. This
is a team that is super interesting to look at. Like, they do just seem like a bunch of pistol-y boys at the end of the day. Now the force back in from Complexity. Obviously, over on that CT side, very justifiable. They went for it in the T half, so this does not surprise me one bit. Because now it allows them, if they lose this round, they could bring out AWPs in their buy when they finally get it. And you have a good chance at finding success here. Shazam with the AWP over in mid. Once again, opting to leave this B bomb site pretty bare. Shazam just rotating between watching the catwalk in middle and that B bomb site. It's a lot of responsibility falling on his shoulders in this round, and they have managed to get up short on the side of Grayhound. So this A play feeling like a possibility here with 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
I like how reserved Grayhound started this round, though. They didn't even go out long off of spawn. They held very passive towards B, just making sure Complexity don't throw anything crazy in, making sure their default is structured, and it was, however. Talking crazy, this is where it starts to get it. Push through short smoke, it's only a couple of kills. This is where the trades will come through, and Grayhound are going to start slaughtering. 3 kills from Malta. That was a nice try for Complexity, I like the idea, but unfortunately it's not going to work in the long term. And these 3 AKs, they are bounding towards the A site. Rotate coming through middle. And Dexter, he'll see that shadow before Def can even get through the smoke. Shazam hoping for a miracle here, but not landing a blind shot, and Dexter's just going to walk through. Nice work from him and Malta, continuing to put up numbers here for the Grayhound side of things as they lock in yet another round, taking that lead back, 9-8. Complexity have forced both second rounds now after losing pistol, and they've also lost both second rounds after losing pistol. Some maps I'm always a fan of a force. Dust2 CT side, I like a force there. Dust2 T side, not as much, but it's good to be confident, especially when, you know, second round of the game. There's nothing worse than taking a Glock round. You'd rather force. Look at this push in mid, though. 5 players in B for Grayhound, and they're getting flanked.
Yeah, it shouldn't really matter. I mean, it's just these pistols, right? So maybe the Zeus finds something. Oh,
it's a USP battle.
Yeah. It's not the cleanest fight you've ever seen. It's a pretty ghastly angle, and they do finally get rid of Sick. This is a 10th round for Grayhound, as it should be, and they've kept it clean, relatively speaking. You're losing 1 player, that's fine. As long as Zeus doesn't manage to get anyone, you've dodged the bulk of the damage of this round. 10-8 now. And honestly, with Urkast falling, now I feel like we're going to see the AWP purchased up as well here for Grayhound, as they do have to get one of these rebuys in.
I mean, Urkast didn't even buy. He just ran through B with a USP. Did what you like to do. You're a big fan of those USP anti-ecos.
Yeah, even though I get nothing but hell for it. Me and Urkast on the same page.
Yep, only when you lose the rounds, though, obviously.
Let's see. I want to see if they do grab this up, because they've got the cash.
They've got
more than enough money to. And Shazam's got his out. I would love to see it. Although at the same time, look at this spawn. This is a B spawn, if you've ever seen one. And so they make the decision to not get the AWP here. And that, to me, suggests that they might just play 4B once again. Dexter's going to throw his utility over towards the long side. And yeah, it's looking like that B rush. So that decision to not purchase up the AWP, very much intentional here. They try and offset Complexity with the pace. They have to get past Sick and Ricky, and they do manage to find them both. Def beginning his rotation. Let's not forget, Dexter had thrown those flashbangs out towards long, and that has kept these three players a lot slower on rotation into B.
Urkast hits a crazy transfer from fighting Sick on the site to flicking back to the door and getting Ricky, but the tunnel's flank is in, and it's found great success. Urkast being picked up, and Malta, he is alone. Great position for this, though. They need to molly out the back box, or they line up instead. That could work. Malta shredding too. The flash is in. He's going to move to the back of the site, try and get up and above. Shazam, no kit. He's going to make this work, and he's found the shot as well. Will win the round for Complexity. Defuse plenty of time for it, and salvaged by the AWP player for his side. I don't know where he dropped that AWP as well. I'd love to see if he can go back and get it. There it is. Perfect. Door delivery.
Yeah, big clutch from Shazam. Good try from Malta. He gets very, very fortunate with that little spray control down into the tunnels to get them both. But I mean, the second that flash, I reckon, like, he kind of knows he's pretty screwed in that situation. Right? The flash comes over mid, and the one angle that you are very, very vulnerable to as someone playing on back plat like that, when they know they've got you trapped in, is that mid-door flank. With the AWP over at long in this round. Lower tunnels control getting taken by Grayhound. Spreading out, taking this default. You see that Shazam is at long, but I don't think he's going to be there much longer. It looked like Obo is taking a very aggressive stance. He actually just drops the smoke in the doors and is going to play close to that. But that frees up Shazam to go hold those crossroads.
The thing is, Complexity won last round, Harry, but you wouldn't be able to tell from the buy. They've got nothing in terms of utility. A smoke and a Molotov left. With a few flashbangs, and we're only 30 seconds in. Kit on Sick, that's something, but they're gonna have to win duels here. No other way around it. Grayhound are getting up Catwalk and Complexity. They have nothing to respond. Think about how when Complexity got up Catwalk, Grayhound always had Molotovs, always had perfect dunks. Instead, it's gonna have to be the AWP, and Shazam, he starts off strong. Quick kill onto Dick Stacy. No flashes to follow. Grayhound slow it down.
This crossfire between Ricky and Def over in mid. Going to be very tricky to get past. Combine into the fact that you still see Shazam is at those crossroads, right? He can come down and help out. There's three players who can peek into mid from so many angles, and then there's the long flank to make matters worse. Coming in the backline. Oh, but a nice turnaround from Malta, and that's Obo annihilated on his attempted flank. Shazam's trying to peek over the top of the smoke. He will get one. B isn't clear, but Malta's got it. He gets that kill, the bomb now going down, and Shazam once again asked to clutch. He's had to throw his AWP away, and it's back to the M4 for Shazam. 1v2 here. He was able to get the 1v1 in the round prior. No HP on either of the remaining players. Malta hungry for revenge. Shazam. Now into the bomb site he goes, spotted, and they play that perfectly. Double peek, Urkast peeking on Malta's contact. They get the kill. 11-9 now, Grayhound in with another round.
The confidence to just run into B like that, and I don't know if it was, you know, Urkast just trusting Malta or them thinking the site was clear, but Urkast just bomb in hand, jumps onto the site like a madman, gets that plant in, Malta covers him, gets a crucial third kill of the round. And that is all Malta, right? Like, not only does he secure the kill onto the B ramp player who comes down to help Def, who gets mollied out, but also he 180s and kills the top mid flank. Like, really, really sick reactions. Very cerebral, Harry, if I say so myself. And Malta locking in 10 for Grayhound. Or 11, rather. Taking a considerable lead now by 2. How much further will they go, though? Complexity are on eco. This should be a bit of a builder, a bit of a buffer built for Grayhound. Very little in this round. P250, Deagles, and a Zeus on Ricky.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said, right? And that is that heading into that last round, even though they won it, you wouldn't know based on their buy. And that was because it was Shazam in a 1v1, and then that round there, he has to try and 1v2. So there's never been any cash in the reserves for Complexity. Sicko's just taking a dump on Complexity up at short, hasn't he? Ricky's down in lower tunnel. Surely Sicko finishes him off as well. Maybe
Also,
not.
Oof, nice. Grayhound are abusing this B site every single round right now, like a bunch of ragtag gamers, Harry. And that is the worst. If you are getting owned on B so consistently, you're going to lose the game. And Complexity need to tighten this ship. Obviously, in this round, it's not really their fault. It's eco. They left it open, and Grayhound took that advantage. But yeah, if you continue to lose this on rifle rounds, these are almost impossible to retake, as we've seen. Shazam wins a 1v1 clutch, but 1v2, man, as soon as you are disadvantaged in the numbers, you instantly have such a task ahead of you.
So here's one thing to note, right? With all these B plays coming in, Grayhound, I don't think like they're ever necessarily, they don't really set up like they want to hit A. They're not like holding a default, like, you know, trying to take long, trying to take short, but they don't just group up in tunnels and play for B. It's normally been, you know, whittling away at your opponent, holding a bit of a default, holding catwalk, mid, lower tunnels, upper tunnels, and then it culminating in mid to Bs, right? And I think at this point in time, Complexity, they're getting conditioned, right, to have to really watch this B bomb site. And with how Grayhound have been playing this, they've left it in a position so that if they ever get the information or if they ever believe it's a B stack, they can go to A. So you've been conditioning your opponent all game long, and now might be one of the times where we see that, because Dexter's alone at B, he's playing into it fast, he's pushing out, there's players over at long for Grayhound, and actually they do lose that first man. So the change they make in this round, not as successful as they would have liked perhaps, as already they in this 4-on-5 in the opening 20 seconds.
Ooh, Dexter, he gets mollied out and he actually kills Sick on the swing. That's a huge frag. Might tempt him to go in, but Ricky is still here. It's not an open site just yet. You can already see Complexity scrambling a little bit on that rotation. They are scared of B, and they should be, because Dexter, he's creeping, he's crawling, he's already through that smoke, and he's going up and above. Ricky, ooh, this is close. Dexter's going to get the kill. That's B open for the taking. You can see that bomb has already left long. It is in the tunnels and close to rotate. No smoke for the door, but they do have flashes and mollies to at least shield the vision here of Complexity. Dick Stacy going to throw that bomb over. They need to care about the window, though. There is a player up close. Def might just go for a Hail Mary, try and save the day on his own. He does some damage. Has to fall out, though. Molotov to the window, and there's another one for Grayhound. That might just be the end of the round for Complexity. If they throw another molly in, Complexity, no kit, no smoke to put it out, no flashes. They've got to save.
They toyed with the idea of going back in, but that flash, that solidified it. You'd have to have just waited far too long at that point. And with no kits on the side of Complexity, you know, retaking that B bomb site 3v3 is hard enough, let alone when there's that much utility left on your opposing, on the opposing side. And when you don't have kits to work with. So 13-9, they even find Shazam. That was the AWP dropped. The one gun that Complexity were trying to hold on to.
Damn.
That's been stripped away from them here.
And Shazam has had a good game as well. You know, he's not been lights out or anything, but he's been top of the board, you know, alongside Ricky all game long. And the thing is, we haven't seen a chance for Shazam to show us what he can do with that AWP, because have we seen a cat play to A from Grayhound? No. Have we seen a long commitment to A from Grayhound? No. Have we seen, like, 5 B plays? Yes. And that's not where the AWP's gonna succeed. And Grayhound, oh my god, it's just relentless, isn't it? Look at this.
And you know what they're going to do? They're going to keep doing this until eventually Complexity stack B, and then Grayhound are going to go A.
Yeah. This
is a live action Pavlov's dogs.
what do you do here? You can't retake this. You're already a man down, and yeah, you can see like Obo's going spawn side. It's done. Grayhound win a round in 20 seconds by just running into B and getting the pick. There was only one man there. I'm surprised Complexity are not wisening up to this. You know, it's because now moving forward. Okay, so what do you do if you're Complexity next round? Do you stack B? Because in the back of your head, yeah, Harry, what if Grayhound go long? Like, you can't be two places at once.
And that is the whole problem with this.
Yeah.
Grayhound have got this game under their control for the sheer reason that if you're Complexity, you're like, okay, they've been taking B every round, but at any point, they don't have to go B every round. And if we give up elsewhere on the map, then the odds are they're just going to take it. At the same time, if you never even attempt stacking B, maybe you could have put a stop to this madness all along.
The dice is rolling so well for Grayhound as well. These spawns they've been getting have been pretty damn good. Like consistently B-sided spawns certainly helps them with these early rushes. You know, it's one thing doing it on Antico. It's another thing doing it on back-to-back rifle rounds. And Grayhound, they forced the last tactical pause from Complexity. It's good to see Complexity using all their pauses as well. You know, having a chat with Kita, trying to figure out how the hell you get around this.
So I would almost love it if Grayhound just call Complexity's bluff and just B-rush again.
Yeah,
I feel like, you know,
keep going till it doesn't work.
Because I feel like you take this tactical pause, and what you want to do with it is get in the head of Grayhound of it. You know, try and like warp the situation. Like we've had a moment now to think.
What we should see here is Complexity with 2B, with immediate Molotovs, no one letting their sight off B. Because that's been the problem. They've been playing like floating between window and stuff, but this time Grayhound won't rush it either way, so it's not a problem. The molly is instant in B. They're going to smoke it. They won't commit, though. They're only trying to play with the hearts and minds of Complexity right now. They're going to go for a normal round, Harry. Because that's the thing. This isn't just Grayhound cheesing their way to a win. I mean, it is a little bit. But at the same time, we know they can play this map, and they actually have depth. So it's not like they need that B site. They have plenty of other things they haven't shown Complexity, and this is a chance to exploit some of that. And hey, maybe you can end up in a mid to B if things go wrong.
Yeah, I don't think it's cheesing it at all. I think they've poised themselves in such a good spot because not only are you in control of the game, you're in control of your opponent's kind of brains almost. Like you're in their head.
When I say cheesing, I don't mean like it's not credited.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I just mean
no.
like it's a gimmick. You know, it's
yeah.
just ridiculous that they're getting away with it so much. That is cheesy. But hey, if it works, it works, you know.
Well, dig Stacy. Let's see if he's got his stilts on as he'll take a peek over towards short. It's actually Malta up past him. Not going to go in first. That smoke drop to give them a bit of room to maneuver. Stacy lining up the flashbang to facilitate this peek in. Smoke for CT. They might try and get a player down here. Dexter's out in mid, and it's the mid to B play once again, but Ricky boosted. This boost has to yield some serious results, and helped out by Def now. Another kill going the way of Complexity. Obo's wrapped long. Sicko actually will get that trade. And now Sick in the B bomb site. He's got to try and watch both tunnels and the window, and Malta, the B bomb site belongs to him. Bomb goes down, Sicko and Malta 2v2, and look at the speed on Malta. He's wrapping in through lower tunnels. He's trying to go on a big flank. Sicko just has to buy precious seconds.
Yeah, they don't know where he is. He can just use that orb like a shotgun as Malta comes in from behind, shuts down the window play. There's the round for Grayhound. Neil is getting hyped, and I don't blame him. That's a dominant T side right now for Grayhound. They have lost one round this half, Harry. And the worst part about that Complexity, how many players do they have on that B site? Only one. Once again, Sick falling to Malta. It seems all too familiar. They had a great chance to fight mid, and I got to give it, you know, Complexity did have the advantage at one point, having a 3-on-2, winning that CT fight on the mid to B players, but it just seems like they don't expect this to end up in B, and Grayhound completely play with their rotations by taking Catwalk at the start of the round. It makes them dedicate 4A, and that was the biggest mistake they could have made. Luckily enough, this time the AWP is on B, Harry. That's a change we'd like to see, and Dex has finally gone down.
And what a man to find. You know, he really has been, throughout every game Grayhound have played, just such a consistent force. Taking him down early, now leaving Grayhound on the back foot. 4-on-5, double AWPs for Complexity. Shazam inside of this A site, and the first time he actually gets to make contact with the enemy on this AWP, it's short-lived. As he has made quick work of these players pushing out, Sicko puts him down. And the A plant can come in.
Yeah, but what do you do past that? Urkos is trapped out on long. He couldn't get through the doors. He got dinked. He had to throw a Molotov and get out. Sicko's going to plant safe. Very odd plant considering, you know, he couldn't do it open. He could have got jump shot. He could have got peeked from Cat. They don't own that position. But Urkos is just desperately hoping for a kill. Sicko gets one more on the site, and that will be the retake. That was never going to go Greyhound's way, but a bomb plant at least will give them something to move forward with. Finally, Complexity shut down a round. And a lot of that, yeah, coming off with the first kill, right? We've only seen Greyhound win B plays pretty much. So they haven't had to fight on A and losing, you know, not only their best player, but the man who's been getting them into B round after round at the start is not what they wanted. 10 rounds to Complexity. This is still winnable. They just need to get flawless from this point on, bring it to overtime.
Tactical pause now for Greyhound and a chance to mull this one over. You can see Neil M getting involved, swapping there you go, his microphone around so that it's actually in front of his mouth. He wears it at the back of his head. I don't know if you noticed that.
Is that a fashion choice or is that just...
I think it's because he's such a hype coach. He's so loud that the microphone has to go on the back so it isn't just peaking.
That's true, that's true.
I don't know. Let's see. He's had a quick chance to discuss this one over with the team.
I mean, look at the streaks here on both halves, really, right? It was a dominant start for Greyhound. Complexity brought it back with so many rounds in a row to bring us to a favorable half. And then obviously Greyhound winning the pistol as they always seem to. Since then, it's been Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oh, Ricky, he spotted that. He knows the player's up catwalk right now. Dex are going to fake a mid to B smoke, but this does not look like any kind of B play. Tunnels is not controlled, and Complexity, for the first time, they are heavy on mid and B. They have no one on that A site. This is fine, though. They can afford to play for retake up on A. That's more common. Obo's pushed up on catwalk. Dexter might not expect this, but the fact that he's waiting for the smoke to fade means that he's at least going to have an equal fight. He should, at least. But Obo, he's getting pushed. He might get flashed around this corner. No, he just walks in dry, and Dexter's looking away. A free kill for Obo. A man advantage for Complexity, and Greyhound have to commit. They're all out long.
Oh, and they're crossing one at a time. They're giving these AWPs chances to shut them down. A tag onto Dick Stacy and the kill. As they try to get into A, they will get this bomb planted, but they're getting shut down slowly but surely. Obo is making this look very, very doable. It's Sicko and Urkos left. Oh dear, 2v3, it's feeling doable. Shazam tries to save the day, and he might have done enough. There's Sick arriving. Complexity just salvaging an 11th round there.
Ricky is the most annoying man alive there, constantly baiting Greyhound into dedicating themselves looking towards shore. He keeps jiggling, rather, keeps getting the attention of Sicko and Urkos. Never actually takes a fight, never commits, but just his presence there and the idea that he could peak throws enough chaos into the win for Greyhound that Complexity are able to get up through CT spawn in time. Nice round, nice retake, and a good decision to not only re-aggress on Cat here from Obo, but also just in general to give up the A site. If you know Greyhound have 4 players up long, or at least the majority, you know, you could fight it, you could also just play the advantage and go back in after the bomb's gone down. That's totally okay. In Complexity, 2 rounds in a row, Harry, slowly but surely getting together, but that's a great start from Sicko. Not seen too many mid-fights with the AWP this game, but that could be a consequential one here for Complexity.
I mean, that's the thing. In these last 2 rounds, for the first time in a very long time, we were seeing Complexity take man advantages. And so now here, finally, it's back to kind of what we've been used to seeing. Complexity now having to play this a man down, and a real pivotal juncture in the game, right? This map point in favor of Greyhound. You're 4v5 now. You've lost Shazam, someone who really has been putting up some numbers within the server. So what's the game plan from Complexity? Taking along control with Obo. Ricky watching catwalk, and Ricky will have his work cut out for him here. 4 players, 5 players grouped up at Cat. Malta's already down in CT, and Ricky's just got to give this up. Complexity have to play for the retake, and this is going to leave them 4v5 as that bomb goes down.
I love that smoke that Malta uses. I don't know who threw it, but towards a long corner. It allows Malta to get into CT, and Ricky is forced back to pit because he can't fight Car. He's got a smoke in his face. If he misses a shot, a player could run right through it. And now that's put Complexity on the back foot. Not only down a man, but down in terms of positioning. And now down 2 men. They've got to get some work done, but Sicko taking down Obo. There's 2 responsive kills with the AWPs, but these are not the guns you want for retake. Greyhounds still have a trick up their sleeve. It's Dexter in the back line, and it's a map locked in here for the Greyhounds. They are going to take it on Dust2, 16-11. Complexity, hearts go out to them there. That was a rough game. It took them a while on that CT side to realize, how to get around the problems that Greyhound were presenting them. And then at the point they realized how to fix it, Greyhound, they just go back towards A and close out the game. So great work from Greyhound, and that will be the first map. Their pick, of course, locked in for this series.
Yeah, moving 1-0 up now, right? And finally actually closing a game out in the dominant fashion that we wanted to see, right? That second half did feel like the Greyhound we saw for the first 8 rounds of Dust2.
Yeah.
They kind of just faded into existence there towards the end. The Complexity obviously stepping it up massively, right? But moving into their T side, the second you dominate the B bomb site, just like 6 rounds in a row like they did, it's so hard to like mentally know how to overcome that as a CT, right? And as Complexity in that situation, you really did feel for them, because it just felt like whatever decision you make was wrong. Like whether you're stacking mid, anticipating that, okay, they can't go B again. Oh, well, they've gone B again. And then you finally try and play into the B in the mid plays, and then they just hit A. And that's the thing, when you've conditioned a team to have to respond so quickly, like Greyhound did, it's very, very hard to ever recover from that sort of situation.
Yeah, that was a masterclass from Greyhound, though, in the T side. Really, really abusing Complexity's trust there in that second half, at the start of it at least, and a deserved win to lock in their pick. Now, the only question mark for me is we move forward to Inferno now, Harry. This is a map that Complexity have picked, so they're confident in it, but out of the 4 maps they played, they've only won it once, whereas Greyhound, 3 out of 3 right now. It's not a lot to read off, it's not a lot of maps, but the one thing it does show is it's not like Complexity are picking into a map where Greyhound are uncomfortable. These guys are going to know what to do, and that only sets us up for a potential 2-0 victory. I really hope we don't get that. I want Overpass. I want to see Complexity back on that map. They were so exciting to watch against Tyloo on Overpass, but that's all going to be coming down to whether they can weather the storm on the second map.
Most definitely, right? And I mean, on top of that, the real kind of question for me is, can we see a bit more of a return from players such as Sick and Obo, right, who did kind of find themselves floating down towards the bottom of the board there in spite of strong starts? When we moved into that CT side, it felt like those 2 in particular did just kind of go a bit to the dark, right? Like we didn't really hear much from them. Now, there's a good reason for that. Obo was over towards long doors. We saw how Greyhound went A once, like twice. So I guess there's like reasons for it, but it's just, I think with Ricky and Shazam both showing up, I thought that was going to be the recipe for Complexity to take Dust. And then Def was having a good game as well, right?
Def was the reason that they were able to pull that T-side half back into something feasible, something 8-7 at the half, right? They were down 7-1, and then Def he just keeps on getting entries up from Catwalk, walking through smokes, doing crazy stuff. So yeah, I mean, big game from Def, but not enough from Complexity if they want to stay here in Berlin. If they want to continue to fight, they are just 1 map away from elimination, Harry. And frankly, it's looking more and more likely than ever. Greyhound looking pumped and thick as always.
Yes, indeed. Well, Complexity looking to pull this one back if they can, take us the distance, take us to Overpass. We both hope they can, and I think they can. So let's find out if they can after a quick break.